Our next evaluator for this evening will be our hot seat evaluator. You know him as David Makela. He was evaluating Scott Auchmoody. David Makela.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Scott Auchmoody, what a pleasure it is to evaluate you at this time of your Toastmasters journey. Many of you know that Scott is on this journey of achieving the highest accomplishment in Toastmasters. That's the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And Scott, I have to tell you that as you've really ramped up the speeches to accomplish this goal, you have been giving many speeches, and I have seen the advancement of your speaking skills just grow from speech to speech, which is a great testimony to when you put the time in and you practice and you apply it, you will see results. So well done. And as I said in the chats, I was looking forward to evaluating you. You asked me to look for two things. You asked me to look for the good use of visuals and looking straight into the cameras. The visuals were perfect. A great slide presentation is not too many slides with very little words and using images and graphics to tell the story. And you did that. I thought your slide presentation was spot on. I would not change anything about it. I think there was only one slide that had a few words on it, but I thought slides were perfect. I thought, as you looked into the camera, I felt as if we were right there in the same room with you. I felt that you connected with the audience really well. So I think those two objectives, that you nailed them. The objectives were to make sure you had a clear purpose for the presentation. And I thought you opened it up really well by talking about when you don't have all the facts, you can run into unforeseen consequences. You set up the presentation perfectly because you told us what the presentation is going to be about. So I thought that was well done. And then the other objective was the report organized clearly and logically? Perfect. You said, okay, this part was, to me, was the most powerful part of your speech, was when you really talked about the three things that have changed drastically. And we all were hanging on to every word because we wanted to know. And not only did you talk about suicide and domestic violence, but you gave us a call to action, something that we can do to help people that are suffering and struggling. And I love that. Talk to your friends. Be nice to each other at home. And then you tied that nicely into traffic deaths are down, a positive, which is always nice to end on a higher note. And I love that. And the whole theme ultimately was be nice to each other. And that was communicated well by your hand gestures. Your pacing, I thought, was perfect. The one thing that you could do, this is the last thing, to improve upon is the Q&A session went a little bit longer. You could have, a good way to interrupt the question was to say, thank you very much for your question. I would love to answer it, and I can talk to you after my presentation. That could have moved you out of the time, so that way, moved you out of that Q&A session to finish the time on your speech on time, like I'm not doing right now. So I'm sure you could do that much better than me. But overall, well done, Scott.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David Makela.